Okay, Jason here. Look, today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to install the Darla lights on your Honda ST1300. Watch this video and understand that it's a lot simpler than it looks. So we started with taking the dashboard off, okay? There's my dashboard right there. When it is on the bike, there's six screws you're going to take off. Well, there's going to be 2 pins up top here, push pins. You're just going to take like a needle nose pliers and pull those out of the way, put them to the side, don't lose them. You move down to the dashboard, you got a screw right here, a screw right here, this one, these 2 on the bottom, which is by this little speaker cutouts, okay? You're going to get those 2 also out on both sides. And now, when you take, before that dashboard comes out, you got to move the mirrors. You're just going to pull them out. They pull out of their little sockets. These are the sockets for the, this is 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, right? The screw that you have to remove is that one right there. It's not in there now because I took it out. You got to remove that screw on this side. And there's going to be one on this side, and you can see it a lot better because of the lighting. So that screw is just a cross tip screwdriver, just a regular Phillips head. You remove that one. After that, you keep your glove boxes open and you should be able to pull your dashboard out. But the dashboard would only come out so far. Why? Look right here. You see these 2 cables? These 2 cables, here's the dashboard. Those 2 cables are plugged right in there. So you have to remove, when you come back here, you have to remove this rubber stuff out of the way. And if you look carefully, I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but you have to push down on those pins. This one here, and then this one here on this side. You push down and you pull them out, and they'll come on. They'll disconnect from the dashboard of the bike. Now, everything you get in this kit, you will not use. I repeat, you will not use everything in this kit. A lot of this kit is plug and play. So you see they have things labeled: plug and play pot, single channel universal harness. They have this extra thing right here. It looks like I'm not even going to need this, but I will use the zip ties to keep the cables in order. And then there's a couple of other baggies, okay? You got one here, isolation relay. So basically, let's go on to the battery. Okay, so the battery here, I know I got a lot of cables. I did buy a, whatchamacall this thing. This is I didn't plug anything to it, but you can if you want to. Hold on, let me show you guys what that is. A Heel Tech. It's one of those Heel Tech connectors that you can plug multiple things to. You connect the Heel Tech directly to your battery, and then it will allow the ignition situation of your bike. Every time you turn your ignition on or off, it will supply power to any auxiliary power things you guys have. I just installed it into my bike, but we're not going to talk about that. Here's the power cable that comes with your Darla light kit. This is the positive, and then you can see the negative is right here. It's going to come with this fuse separate. So you see this little connector here? This is a very simple connector. You poke this cable into this blue thing, and this little blue cap right here is what you're gonna screw. You're gonna screw it until it tightens, and now this cable won't come out. Same thing with this side. You're gonna screw this like that. It's gonna loosen up. You're gonna take this red cable with the fuse connected to it, poke that wire right inside of here. Take this blue thing and screw it tight, and so that it doesn't pull apart. This thing kind of connects 2 cables. It's pretty cool. And then obviously you have the fuse. You connect it to the red terminal, and then you'd always do positive first when you're connecting something to a battery, and then put the negative to your negative terminal on your battery. And this cable's ran up through, and this is just in a test phase. I got it coming up here. Now, this thing's gonna come with a big old box. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I should have showed you before I installed it. But it comes with this relay box. I'll show you right here. It comes with this thing right here. All I did was zip tied it to this bar so it doesn't go anywhere. And it's got all these cables coming out of it. Now, do not worry. All of these cables connect. You see these thick ones? they connect directly to another cable. For example, this cable right here, you see how this thick black cable, it comes from that box. I connected it to this cable, which is the actual volume knob. You see, this is your volume knob right here. Now to install the volume knob, all I did to install the volume knob was these are 8mm bolts right here. You loosen them up. You see how it's like a little slit right there? This is a 2-piece system. This thing right here is 1 piece, and then this is 1 piece. When you take those 2 screws out, this faceplate with the word up on it, it comes forward towards you. And all you do is you're gonna have this bracket. This little volume knob comes with this bracket. You see the little black bracket there? And I just used the original screw to put that one side of the bracket in. And then there's a hole on the side of this little volume knob right here. It has a hole that this bolt is screwed into. They also have one on the bottom. You see that one? So there's that hole on the side here. And you just pick how you want to mount it. I decided to just mount it like this. Don't really care how it looks, but you see that's how it looks in real time. Everything is plug and play. This same relay box that I just showed you guys, you can see there's 2 more black thick cables coming out of it, right? This is where they go. Those 2 black cable boxes, I guided them down here under the front fender. You see the headlight, just so you guys see what you're looking at. And then they go to the light pods. All right, and then you're just gonna do some assembly stuff with removing this original reflector. When you install it properly, it's gonna look just like this. I'm gonna show you guys how we got there. Now, you guys, there's some skinny cables in here, okay? There's 2 white ones and there's a red one. You're not even gonna need all of this stuff, guys. So this is what I did. They tell you right here. You see this relay box right here? There's 2 of them. This relay box normally sits right here next to this one right here. They want you to take the one on the left. That's this one. They want you to take this out, pull this rubber out of the way, and find the pink cable. You see I have 2 pink cables. One of them has a silver stripe on it. You take that posy tap and you tap into it. Now let me show you how these works in case you've never seen it before. But you take the posy tap, you tap it to the pink wire with the silver stripe, and you take the only skinny red cable that comes from that relay box. Remember this big old relay box that I said I strapped to the thing? It has 2 white cables, 2 skinny white cables, and a skinny red one. The skinny red one goes into this posy tap. Now, let me show you how the posy taps work. This is what bam, here we go. And they give you extra ones because some people might want to mount these differently. Here's a posy tap wire connector, okay? Has a red side, black side. They all don't always look like this, but this is how they look in general. They always look like these little tubes or something like that. So you're gonna unscrew one end, right? One end, the screw is gonna look like this. It doesn't have any slit in it. I'm gonna show you what I mean when I say a slit. But what it does have is it has a nice thick wire piece inside of here, or a metal piece in here. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna use this little thing that you use to tighten up your bread after you done took a couple of slices out of it, you greedy mofo. You're gonna poke it right through, because remember, there's a hole in here. See that? You're gonna poke it through the hole, poke it far enough so that it shows up on the other side. And then you take the other end of the posy tap and you force this thing together and you start to screw. Now, often it will not screw all the way where it's like flush. You might see the little gap like this, that's okay. But if you pull on a cable, it doesn't come out. Now on this other side, we're gonna take this thing out so I can show you how this other side is supposed to work. This other side is what you use to connect a wire that's already loose to a wire that's already connected. Remember I told you about that pink wire with the silver stripes on it? You're gonna use this side to screw into it. So pretend this is the pink wire with the silver stripe on it. You see this side, this part of the screw right here? It's got that little slit. You're gonna make sure you put this thing over that wire. You're gonna take the other end of it. You can see that needle in there. It comes with a needle, and you're just gonna go on and screw it. That needle's gonna poke right into the cable, right through the cable's covering and everything, and it's gonna be like this. So imagine when I showed you guys that, you know, if you have a regular cable that's loose, you're gonna poke it on this side, and then the cable that you need to tap it into, you poke it through like this. Now, see what that looks like on the bike. Remember that red one I showed you guys? So remember this wiring harness, this big old relay box right here. It has two white skinny wires, you see right here, and one red skinny wire. They want you to take that one skinny red wire and tap it in to that pink cable. There it is right there, to that pink cable with the silver stripe in it. And you see how that posy thing is tapped into it? There you go. And then you see the red cable's not coming out. I'm pulling on it, doesn't come out. So now the next step is those two white cables. What do you do with those two white cables? Well, you're in luck, because I'm about to tell you. This is our ST. This is the dashboard. You're looking at the dashboard. So we're gonna go in now inside the dashboard, and we're gonna look for the headlights. Now, as you guys can see, this round piece right here, that's the right headlight. This is the servo that actually adjusts the headlight's height. And this is the right headlight. The left headlight. They want you to find the blue cable to the original wiring harness for the left headlight. That is going to be your high beam light. It's a high beam cable. Now there's a blue cable. So this is the wiring harness that originally connects to the left headlight. I have LED bulbs in here, so that's why it's looking like this, but they want you to find that blue cable. That one right there. You see it? You see how the posy tap is tapped into that blue cable, and the other two white cables are on the other end. And you just screw it in nice and tight. There you go. Now, if you want to be extra, you can get some black electrical tape and tape it around here and just tape all of this up. You don't have to. This is a pretty secure connection, and that's all we got. Now, you see all the cables that you see because I was trying to make sure I do a test fit before I turned the bike on. We connected the thing to the battery. We got the inline fuse. We got it ran all the way up. These thick cables go straight to that relay box, that big old black relay box. You want to make sure it's out of the way so when you put your dashboard back on, it's not an issue. These two fuses right here. Remember, this fuse was here, and then the other one that I tapped into is right here. And we're going to end up putting this fuse back. So what you want to do is make sure you put the rubber back over the cables and everything. Okay, should look like that. And then you find this little slit right here, and it's just gonna simply go right back next to this other one, just like that. Give me a second. Just like that. And that's how they should look. Okay, that relay box is gonna control everything. You can wire everything up and then do a test hit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the key on, and these lights should automatically turn on with the headlights of the bike. You see? I got one down here because I haven't mounted it yet, and the other one's here. Now let's show you the brightness, because how this is set up, how I just showed you how I wired it. If you have your normal beams on, those lights are gonna stay normal. I'm gonna turn the high beams on. You're gonna hear the snap to know when, you're gonna hear that click sound to know that the high beams are on. They get to their brightest settings. When the high beams are on, this volume knob cannot control how bright it is. It's always gonna go to max brightness. Now, if I put my low beams on, this is where it gets cool. You can adjust your brightness. You see I'm turning that knob, you see the lights get brighter and brighter. So you want to make sure after you get everything plugged in and connected, you do a test hit to make sure that it's working properly. So now I'm going to put this whole thing back together. But before I do, I had to install this side first to give you guys an idea on, so I knew how to actually install it. So when I do the other side, I could show you guys. And the actual LED is the same exact color. I don't know if you guys can see that in the video, but my headlights LEDs are the exact same color as the LEDs on the bottom. I've ordered these with the yellow covers, so I'm gonna ride with the yellow covers on so I don't have too much regular LED color going on in the front of this bike. So let's go on and get to this side. Okay, before you do anything, you're gonna find a bag that has these black brackets in it. with these 5mm. So 5mm hexes, you're gonna need that to take the original hex screws off. But before you do that, you want to set this bracket up right here. You want to set the bracket up where this little, you see this little triangle little piece here, it's always going to be facing forward. It's going to come, because it's going to go on like this ultimately. So make sure it's going like this. You want to put a small washer on the inside with the bolt, and on this side you're going to always put one of these bigger washers on here. And then right inside this whole assembly, you guys are going to see there is a soft washer with the original reflector. So we're going to reuse that. Okay, here you can see I'm taking this thing off, and you see that black thing in there? That is a rubber washer. We're going to keep that. We need to keep that there, because when we screw this bracket on, that washer is going to press up against this rubber washer to maintain the structural rigidity of this plastic fender here. We're going to take the reflector off now. Usually you can start to unscrew the reflector and it'll come out. If you've never taken it off, it may be a little difficult, but usually you can get the fender off turning it. But if not, it has a 10mm wrench to hold the bolt on the back side of this reflector if it won't unscrew itself without turning the whole assembly. So we got this little black rubber washer here. It kind of fell out when I was doing that. So I'm going to take this reflector off and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, remember I told you guys that this whole little bracket here, you got one washer on each side. You're going to need to put it in the middle hole here. Note the hole that it goes in. The reflector is going to go back in this hole, and the head, the light part, the pod light is going to screw into here with 2 different screws. So you're basically going to get that rubber washer, put it on this inside one here, right? Take it, and we're going to screw that right back in here. When you tighten this up, guys, keep in mind that there's a rubber washer in there. Once that rubber washer starts to compress, like once it starts getting tight, only tighten it enough where you don't tighten past that thickness of it, because if you tighten it too hard, you're gonna crack this plastic fender. I need to put 2 hands on this to make sure that the holes are aligned on both sides. You can see I need to get this bolt all the way through. So I'm gonna need 2 hands so that it'll start to screw all the way through, and it'll start to poke out through here a little bit. Okay, when I tightened it till it got snug where I could still move this bracket, because now we got to take the reflector and we got to take that 10mm nut that goes on the other side, and we're going to screw it right in that hole. You see, that's the original bracket for the reflector, so we get to reuse it. Typically when putting the reflector back on, sometimes you are able to do it without having to hold the nut. Okay, so we got the reflector nice and tight. Once you get that tight, remember this thing moves just a little bit still. So we're gonna push down till I'm pushing down on this. I'm going down, like pushing down. It's not moving. I'm gonna make sure it's like that and screw this tight. Remember, I told you guys, when you screw this thing tight, there's that rubber washer in there. You do not want to tighten it past the structural, physical girth of that rubber washer. So that's compressed just perfect. All right, that's the pod light here. And I want you to see that it has 2 holes on the bottom. You can imagine, have you figured it out yet, how this is gonna go? It's gonna go just like this. Remember, there's 2 holes. Trying to get my phone in there real good so you guys can see. You can see there's 2 holes, obviously, and that's how you're going to be able to adjust it. So let me show you. So it'll look like this. You see that washer on the inside, on both sides. It'll look like this. All right, and then we're going to get that other bolt, and we're going to do this other hole here. Remember, there's 2 holes. There's one that I got to do on this one. So we're going to take we're going to take this bolt, Put the small one in, take the big one with us, and do the same thing with this next hole. As you can see, I got the washers and the bolts set up. You can get it a little tighter. That's when this 10mm wrench will come in handy, and you can make your adjustments to make this a little bit tighter. Now, Darla or Clearwater says your headlights should be straight. They should be set up so that when you sit on a bike, this is gonna naturally lift up. So you want to set them just low enough. So what I like to do with this is, I like to get, you know, I'm in my garage. I fortunately have a garage. If you don't have a garage, find you a wall outside and go in the evening hours when it's getting dark. Put your bike up against the garage door or the wall, turn the headlights on, and then these will turn on with your headlights, and just watch how much higher or lower these lights are from your headlights, and then adjust them how you want. Then you can get on your bike, go for a ride, and do further adjustments if you feel like you need to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tighten these up a little bit. There's a diagram they show you. Clearwater, this is their diagram trying to show you how the lights should look when mounted on your bike. And you can see, you know, there's a wheel or something like that. There's a rim. I think that's the rim of a bike. And they're trying to say that the headlights should kind of sit flush with that. I mean, you do what you will, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna tighten these up. I'm probably gonna leave them like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this whole bike back together. I'm gonna tighten those up. I'm gonna do my test fitments, and then I'm gonna take a picture for you guys, and you guys can use that line on the fender. I think we all have it with the top of the pod light to kind of have an idea on how you should have yours mounted, but you're gonna still always have to do it yourself and go from there. Okay, so I ended up taking the supplied zip ties so you guys can see how the cable, you're not supposed to bend this cable. I really wanted to tuck the cable behind here, but they don't want you to pinch it because you shorten the life of the lights. So you just try to walk it. And I got a zip tied right here to the brake line. Okay. And then if you come up here along the shock here, I zip tied this body behind the brake line. Remember, you're riding, bugs are going in here. They're going in. I would rather them hit the cylinder for the shock and the brake lines before it hits, you know, any of this stuff. So I kind of have it tucked. You see how I kind of tried to hide them behind the shock themselves so they're not exposed. Now, once I got done with that, I came back inside the dashboard and I took those two thick black cables and I kind of wedged them behind the relays so they hold up pretty good. You can zip tie them to things, maybe to this bar right here. I'm gonna go with my gut feeling based off of what I know about this bike, and I'll just have them tucked behind here and then excess cables down in there. Now, all I gotta do is route the power cables through the bike to the battery. How I did everything else, like with my Garmin GPS, how I routed the cable, you see these two bolts right here? These are 8mm bolts. You take these out, the fuel tank can now lift up. You're gonna have to make sure that your handlebar is straight, stays out of the way, but you'll be able to lift the fuel tank up. If the fuel tank is full, if you have more than 5 gallons in here, it's gonna spill on the floor when you lift this tank up. So you would lift the tank up if you want to route your wires under this fuel cell. It'll be between the fuel cell and your intake box. And then you can kind of bring it up through here and run it through here. Notice this cable right here, we didn't need it. Okay, took 2 bolts out. They come with washers, so be careful of that when you're taking them out, but you're gonna take those 2 out. I got them sitting right here. And now this fuel tank will start to lift. You see that? Now you don't have to lift it all the way. I'm gonna lift it I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, so you guys are gonna have to see the aftermath. But I'm gonna lift it just enough to shove this cable all the way inside so it's out of the way. And then I'm gonna find a way to route it so that it goes to the battery a little more clean than this. But that's what I'm doing. I'm lifting the fuel tank just enough to get that cable wedged in there and run it along. It's gonna come up under here somewhere and then get spat out somewhere in this area. Okay, and that's all it took. Just see, got it tucked in there and got it spit out right here. Got it ran to the battery, so we're good to go. So what I need to do now is I need to put everything back together, get the dashboard back in. Don't forget to plug it in with the 2 plugs. Put the screws in. Remember, we got the 1 screw on each side, the very top screw in that hole. One on this side, one on the other side. And then we're gonna make sure we have the push pins put back in. There's 2 screws that's gonna go here. Okay, the hardest part about putting this dashboard back together, guys, was getting this dashboard in here. You see them? It's holding your hand to push those two connectors back into the dashboard. Having your arm squeezed in here, trying to push those things in there properly. Once you get them lined up, you're gonna have to apply a lot of force. And then once you get enough force to kind of hold them in place, you're gonna have to put your hands through the top here. You'll be able to feel them. You can't see them because of the situation of the video, but they're right up top here. Once you get your hands here, you can push them a lot easier into the actual dashboard. And then you make sure your dashboard, when you're putting it back together, you see down here, watch what I'm doing. You see this plastic part right here? You got to make sure you kind of walk it around this hinge for your glove compartment, and you do the same on this side. This one's already cleared, so you see the holes are all lined up, so we can get them screws put back in there. Push the top part. It's nice and flush. You just want to make sure the holes are, yep, they're lined up, so I can put those push pins back in there. So we're gonna put those screws back in here. Then we're gonna situate this rubber thing, make sure this is all lined up the way it's supposed to. And okay, you see this right here? So I gotta pull this out again. And then right here, this just goes on top, and you can push it closed again. And you're just kind of like looking at what you have in front of you and just putting it back together, guys. It's really not hard. Just look at what you're doing and put it back. Okay, so the pod lights, they come separate. You guys can see this thing. I had to put this in here. This is a soft material. The other one is right here. You guys can see the amber lens is covered on both sides by this white film here, so you have to peel this off. It's a little tedious, but you'll get it off eventually. Now I believe if you look at it carefully, that amber lens you see inside of here, there's an inner lip. I need to get that lens in there first. So this is gonna be interesting. So you have to get that amber lens. See, I just did that wrong, so you guys could see. That amber lens needs to go inside that slot inside of the rubber. So let's get that done. You see? Now it's inside that slot. And then you just take it and you put it over the actual pod light. I haven't adjusted the pod light yet, so that's why it's moving. That's how it's supposed to look. In case someone is wondering, $40 gets you 2 clear lens covers and 2 ambers. Those are the only 2 colors available. So if you need more, let's say you're out riding and a rock hits your lens and it breaks it, because that probably more than likely will happen. You always want to get the lens covers anyway. So I don't know if they automatically come with lens covers, but if you're not sure, just pay the $40 and get you some extra lens covers. And if you don't want to run amber, you want to run the clear ones, just put them on. don't ever run these without a lens cover, because if a rock hits it, you need a whole new assembly. So I'm gonna put this over, and that's pretty much it, you guys. You just want to make sure you look around the rim, make sure that it's all the way flush, make sure there's no discrepancies with your application when you apply it on. So we're gonna go on ahead. I'm gonna close my garage door so you guys can see what it looks like. I'm gonna close my garage door, and I'm gonna sit on my bike and turn the lights on, and then I'm gonna do some adjustments. And we're just gonna turn the ignition on so the headlights can turn on. Jesus Christ. Damn, you guys. Damn, you can't even see. That was the high beams. Okay, thank goodness. I'm about to say, Jesus Christ. You know, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do something here. Okay, so this is with my weight off the bike, and now I have my weight on the bike, and now I'm gonna get off the seat. You see how it lowers just a little bit when you get off? I'm on it, and now I'm off. Now I'm sitting on it, now I'm off. So you see where the beams are? You see one is pointed a little bit higher than the other? I think that's about where I want the lights to be. The volume knob is all the way down, so I'm gonna turn it up. I'm turning it up, I'm turning it up, I'm turning it up, I'm turning it up, I'm still turning it up. Jesus Christ, it's bright as hell. So I'm gonna lower them, gonna lower them, gonna lower them, all the way to the lowest setting. Now when you turn your high beams on, you get full everything, okay? This, in real time at night, looks amazing. Something I need to do, because the beams, the lights are too close to each other. So we got extra hardware here. We got some extra washers. Okay. It's just the one there. I'm gonna take the extra washers and I'm gonna put them right in here. I'm gonna put them in this on the front one. And what that's gonna do is gonna take the light and push it that way just a little bit. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do the same thing. So we did the readjustments. Let's turn it on. Now you can see we got that gap. We got that split, baby, that lickety split. Now I would like for them to be spread out a little more than that, but we gotta see this in real time, because my headlight beam, it doesn't look wide in this video, but they are very wide at night. They got a wide cut, clean, powerful line. And these lights are at the lowest setting. I'm gonna crank them up, crank that Soldier Boy, okay? You guys can see it is making that yellowness intense in here. You can't even see it, but I got them. Hey, y'all, look. You can't deny it. I got them things lined up good. Things looking all right, baby. All right. I'm gonna show you guys how it looks from the front, so in case people want to know how it looks. But this is a golden yellow color. Now the Navi, I got a golden light bar on this bad boy. We're gonna put that one on. It's a gold yellow. Let's see them both. They have this really nice golden yellow color. So that's how they look. Really hard to tell, I know, because turn this blinkers off. It's really hard to tell because, you know, just the cameras, they don't really capture how gold, you know, certain color temperatures are, but yeah, we're working with pure legitness, guys. Pure legitness. I finally got them dialed in. So how did I set this up? Let me show you guys. Show you a side profile. All right. I want you to see how the bracket looks. Okay. And we'll turn the light on and show you guys how it looks from the front with the lights on. And that's on the lowest setting. I'll crank it up so you guys can see it. Oh, it is the highest settings. That was the highest settings. This is the low settings. Like I said, at night, this is gonna be a lot more intense. I'm gonna try to get you guys a night video so you guys can see how the light projects onto the road. Everybody said these Darla lights are the creme de la creme for the ST1300s. I believe it. The installation was really easy as long as you're somewhat mechanically inclined. It was very easy. And you guys want to see how it looks. All right, so we spent all afternoon. By the way, it is dark outside. It's like 11 something at night. DJI Action 5. Not too shabby now, is it? So we got the microphone right here with the DJI Mic Mini. We're going to be using that for audio. We got my Honda ST1300 here. I'm going to go on ahead and turn them on so you guys can see the lights at night. Now I want you guys to know that night recordings is a little difficult because it's hard to see exactly how well something works, especially when it comes to LED lighting. So we're gonna turn the volume up on the lights. Holy shit, that is crazy bright. That's crazy. I'm gonna let that car go by first, but did you guys see that? All right, here we go. We're gonna turn it up. Jesus Christ, that's bright, man. I'll tell you what, that's really good, actually. That's really good. Look, I ain't mad at that. When it's on its lowest setting like it is right now, it's pretty low. Let me lower my windscreen. For some reason, it flashes when I operate the windscreen. Okay, we're gonna put the high beams on now. That's high beams. That is crazy. Wow. That is like, I tell you what, if you're on a dark road, like a really dark road, and we're gonna go on one of those here in a second, and you can't see very well, man, my headlights is already really good on this bike. This bike has very good headlights. Those LED bulbs that I put in there, I don't remember. I remember getting them on Amazon. I remember that much. But guys, them bulbs they got a very wide, the light pattern is wide, and it's good, clean light. Really no shadows. And that's what my headlights at the lowest height setting. You know what I mean? All right, so this is gonna be the road. After we pass this house up ahead, it should just get dark. Sorry if I'm riding slow for you guys. I'm just not a fast rider. I like to take my time, cruise and chill. All right, we're gonna put them high beams on for you. Jesus Christ. Works really, really good on these little back roads. Man. Look, I don't use this much light, but this is the normal headlights. Let me turn the volume knob up. And that's really, really good too. I mean, hey, look, pick your poison, guys. Pick your poison. Remember, the volume knob is a volume knob. You can adjust how bright you want those things to be, you know? But they really do add a nice color profile
your vision.
So that's all on the Darla lights, the Darla Clearwater lights. These lights are pretty good, guys. I actually like them. They're more of a, I want to say of a floodlight. Like when you watch the video, you can see it looks like most of the power is like straight ahead, maybe a little bit off to the sides. It's not a widespread light, so I want you guys to keep that in mind. And when you look at how the LEDs sit inside the casing, you can tell that it's not going to be a wide pattern. It's more of like a, I want to say more of like a spotlight. These lights are really, really good on the narrower roads. If you guys are riding out, let's say in the desert, and the road is wide, there's a spread, you know, it's a pretty widespread road that you're on, don't expect those lights to spread out pretty far to the right. You're gonna have to manipulate them with the washers. Remember I showed you guys the washers on the front part of the light pods? You're gonna have to add more washers and try not to crank too much, because you'll be kind of stressing out the threads inside of the light pod. So you got a little bit of adjustability there. You're just gonna have to use more washers on the front screw of the pod. Really good lights. The quality is very good. The light, the volume knob feels really, really good, really high quality. Do I recommend them? It depends. Our STs have really good headlights, so I mean, to get the pod lights is just being extra, just kind of making yourself be seen a little bit more. They are useful for, I guess you could say, fog lights, quote unquote. Remember, those covers, the amber covers, are just covers. I take those off, and then you just have pure white LED lighting in the front of your bike. So if that's what you prefer, that's there. They only have just clear and then just the yellow amber lights. One thing I forgot to mention in the video is I definitely recommend you guys getting extra lights, like light covers, because you want those. If you don't have light covers on the bike, I don't know if the original kit comes with the clear covers and you got to buy the yellow ones extra. I don't think so. I think you have to buy the covers, period. So make sure you guys buy the covers, and yeah, enjoy the lights. It is expensive, but it's high quality. So, I mean, you got to pick your poison with that. All right. So anyways, Jay on the Segway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys watching. As far as motorcycle content, I have my friend Connie. I have to put the link to her channel in the description below. Get over there, show some support, help her out, give her some travel ideas. She's been supporting me, so I'm supporting her also. So get over there, and thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.